Hey guys, welcome to the Mega64 headquarters editing room. Well, it's sort of an it's more or less our editing room because that's what we do the most. We edit video, but other projects get worked on in here. Anything that's really intensive, that needs a lot of computer work, and you want to lock yourself up in here for a long time, this is where you go. I like to call it the Bat Cave because it's a dingy, dark area with no sunlight that you're going to be in for a long time. So that's what I like to call it. So there's lots of bat related stuff here. Can you even see, there's a Batman statue over there. It looks tight, but we're not going to worry about that right now. But anyway, today we're talking about the Mega64 The Soundtrack 15th Anniversary Complete Edition. I think that's the official title, but it was the record that we just released recently back here. We'd never really done a 12-inch record before. That was new territory for us. We did a couple 7-inches for promotional stuff, for Patreon, whatever stuff before, but never a full album, much less a double 12-inch record. So I had a lot of people requesting. They were like, these took a while to ship, but I think most people have got them now, and I got a lot of requests that were like, did you do any behind the scenes on this, or did you talk about the making of it anywhere? And I thought I could bring it up on the podcast, but it would kind of dominate the whole show. So I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to just do a bonus video for the diehards here on Patreon on what went into it. So basically, back in 2010, I have a copy of our original soundtrack right here. This was our soundtrack in 2010. Just Mega64 The Soundtrack. It was on a CD. And I thought we did a great job with this. In all honesty, I thought this turned out really good. When it comes to a CD, really, why do CDs are kind of outdated at this point. Well, given the technology, but we really wanted to make it like a great physical product. You're buying a CD, you should get your money's worth. And so it had, obviously the CD, but it had a nice case and like a little booklet with stuff in it. And I thought it turned out really good. Kind of an obscure piece of merchandise we did back in the day. We were always wondering about how can we bring that back, but in a way that feels relevant and cool and something people really want to have now, And really the only answer was a vinyl record, because people are so crazy about collecting vinyl records now, and people are discovering the kind of sound that they have. And obviously the sounds in Mega64 videos, these screeching tones that you've heard, would just sound better through the warm embrace of vinyl, don't you think? I'm sure we're the first thing people thought of when they hear the words vinyl record. But but anyway, honestly, we thought, how cool would it be? I think what's great about music right now in the way that it's sold is, personally, this is just me, but I love how really the way people are consuming it now is streaming in the car, digital in the car, vinyl record at home. I think that setup is a great place for music to be. That's just what I think. When you're at home, you've got the big ass package with all the awesome artwork. I mean, this record, I don't know if everyone watching this has this yet, but man, it's just full of stuff and photos to look at. You could look at it for hours. And then the record just has its own sound, just the experience of putting on a record and stuff like that is so cool. But then in your car, you want it on your phone. So we went into this with okay, we'll do a double, because we knew we had a lot of tracks. It was going to be a double vinyl, but we had to have the digital aspect too. So that's why it has the digital download code inside it. I don't know why it gets called a digital download code a lot, because what other kind of download is there? I haven't done an analog download in a long time. Maybe that would explain my mood lately. But anyway, so I thought I'd just kind of pour over this a little bit and go into it. We'd never done a vinyl record before, didn't really know a lot about it, and I'll get more into that later. But we wanted to make sure it had the same content, all the stuff. We wanted it to be it says complete edition for a reason. We wanted it to be everything that was on the CD plus a ton more. So that's kind of what we were aiming for. So the first 25 tracks Yeah. 26 actually. First 26 tracks on this album are actually the track list from that first CD all the way through, because we wanted it to be like, look, if you never got that original album, you can have the same experience from front to back, listening to it, so that was really kind of our main thing there. And so we went back. I had all the original files for those those tracks and stuff like that. I'll kind of just go through it basically. Side A. So it's mostly side A and B that are the ones that are the old soundtrack. And the sources that we used for these tracks were so all over the place. They were, if you're an audiophile, you've probably found clearer sources for stuff. The way that we put a lot of these tracks together is so all over the place. It's like there's tracks that are directly recorded from, in a studio, and then there's tracks that are ripped from a video. All the way to, there's audio that we would try to go back the furthest we could to the best source, the original source of whatever it may be. Sometimes it was a mini DV tape. I mean, it was just crazy. But anyway, I'm going to go over the tracks. So Sequence Erase instrumental is track 1. That was obviously a track by the Aquabats. They were really cool to let us use some of their tracks on our soundtrack. The original soundtrack only had that one. That was the only Aquabats track on there, which we've since added another in the new version. But the Aquabats were so cool about letting us use that. They didn't ask for anything. They were just like, no, we said like, hey, you guys did an instrumental of, because Aquabats did a song called Sequence Erase. It's on their album, The Floating Eye of Death. And it has words and everything. Some Mega64 fans don't know that song has words, but it does. Go look up that track. But they did an instrumental version of it a long time ago. And they posted it along with a bunch of other demos on their website in like 2000, like seriously, like 19 years ago. And I still have all those recordings. And so I was like, can we get that recording and put that on our soundtrack? And they were like, you guys can absolutely do that. So I thought that was really cool. They out of the goodness of their hearts, they just wanted they wanted to make sure it was on there. So I was really stoked about that. Okay. Track 2, Pudding Basin. Is that how you pronounce that? Basin? I know how to spell. My grammar is perfect, but when it comes to pronouncing stuff, that's another story. But that's the Snake song from the episode Summer Semester in version 2. I won't go into that too much. I need some water. It's killing me. Don't mind me. But that was a song that the Snake band played. We weren't really super concerned with a track listing order. Or no, I'm sorry, I take that back. In terms of chronologically, we weren't really concerned with doing all these tracks in the chronological order of our videos. We wanted it to just be the best track list in terms of what track followed what. Like a sad song followed a kick-ass song, like try to mix it up. That was more our concern with the first 26 tracks that were on the original soundtrack. So we thought, after Sequence Erase, let's kick ass even more with track 2, and have this great song, originally done by Slow Draw the Hungry Eskimo, was the band that Garrett was in. We asked them to do a song for that episode, and like over the weekend they did this awesome rock song, and we've always really loved that, so we really wanted to kick things off with that. After Sequence Erase, you expect that to be the first track, and then we just kick ass with the Pudding Basin song, the Snake song, whatever you want to call it. I think Pudding Basin was the name of a haircut in Fable. I think that's what it was. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's why they chose that name, because it was a game related thing, but I never understood that personally. $10,000 is track 3. That's from our musical. Recorded that with Josh Jones. God, it's been like 11 years. I cannot believe it's been that long. And that was 2008. We recorded the songs. Then 2009 we filmed the episode. So that's really crazy to think about. Man, we're getting old. Okay. $10,000. Yeah, that was like that song was about like what's an amount of money that's really hard to get if you don't have it, but it's not like $1,000,000 where it's like, yeah, good luck getting $1,000,000. 10,000 is like if you could probably find a way to get that, but it's a lot if you don't know of a way. You know what I mean? Like it's attainable, but how? Like how the hell is a guy like Dr. Paw gonna get that? You know, it's kind of tricky. It's not an easy amount of money to just get. Billy and His Time Belt is track 4. That was just, there was a little instrumental that Josh Jones did for us a long time ago that was just do 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 do. And when we were editing that video, Billy and His Time Belt in 2007, I think, it just needed a theme song. So I grabbed that instrumental and I went, Billy, Billy, go on to time. Go on to time. You know, whatever. But anyway, that's how that came to be. Cowpokes is track 5, which was a song. We did, Ubisoft back in 2005 or 6 wanted us to do a series of videos for Call of Juarez, their Western game. And we didn't really, they wanted them just quick. And we didn't have a lot of ideas. So we did a parody of Average Homeboy called Average Cowboy. And Cowpokes was the other one where it was just a surreal track where we it was just basically we acted like cowboys out in public like idiots and then cut it up real weird. And that video really was what led to the Cosplayers series. I did Cowpokes first and then I was like, it's kind of fun just editing something to music and making it weird, you know? So that turned into Cosplayers. But anyway, I composed that one myself, I think, just in GarageBand on a Mac. That was it. Elite Beat is track 6. That's a song from our Elite Beat Agents video that Josh Jones did. He did a great job. Just told him to do kind of a take on what would be in the Elite Beat Agents game, and that's what he did. He did a great job. Track 7 is Convenient. That's another song from the musical. Track 8 is Kid Cuisine by Slow Draw and the Hungry Eskimo. That's another Slow Draw song that Garrett was on back in the day, and that was used in our Bigger Boat episode when everything starts going wrong. I think that's a lyric in the song. Everything is going wrong. Anyway, that's what that's from. Another great Slow Draw song. Track 9 is Rave Time by Josh Jones. That track became almost an inside joke with us because it was kind of like anytime there was a party going on or anytime somebody had a ringtone or something, we would always use this track that was like, let's have a party. Like, for some reason that was a go-to. And that was just a track that Josh Jones made on his own time, like just for fun. And we used it in all kinds of stuff. So people finally got that track. It's on here. Restless. There was a track this is another track this is track 10 that Josh Jones just did on his own. He did a cool just instrumental track. You could listen to it to yourself. You don't need to hear me. But he did that and we used it we were asked to do a commercial for a Ubisoft game. I think it was called Jam Session, where you could actually play the guitar on a DS. And the video got banned, or the video got rejected because they didn't want a homeless person in it, or there was a ESRB issue with a homeless person or something. It made no sense. Allegedly. I don't know if that's true, or I don't really understand. But that instrumental is really cool. That's an obscure video, but yeah, I think it's a great track to have on here. It's a great instrumental that he did. Okay, that's side A of the record. Side B of the record, Marcus is Rich. That's Marcus's song from the musical on track 11. Track 12, Average Cowboy. See, that's what I was telling you about, was Average Cowboy was another Call of Juarez video. We used to do a lot of stuff for Ubisoft. Way back in the day, I think we were really cheap and easy to work with, relatively. I mean, we were kind of... I was really protective and a kind of a diva when it came to certain things, because sometimes they would want to just put up our videos as like fan video or something and have it go viral independent of our name. And I was always really like asshole-ish about that. I was like, no, it's got to say Mega64. That's who we are. What, you know? So, but I think like we still did good work quickly, cheaply, and that's why they wanted to work with us. But anyway, that was for Call of Juarez. Track 13, GDC, was a video. That song is a parody of "Shine on Me" by Chris Dane Owens, which is one of my favorite music videos that's ever been on the internet. This dude, he's a producer, and he made his own music video that was very like kind of medieval meets Final Fantasy, kind of whatever. Thought it was a great video and loved the song. And so we kind of parodied it. We didn't really expect that to be, we didn't care. What am I trying to say? Like, it didn't matter that it was a parody of that. To us, it did. To us, we thought, well, yeah, the insiders will get it. But to us, it didn't matter what it was based on. But we made this for the Game Developers Conference, that they showed this at their award show. At the GDC, whatever. And they played it there. And then they kind of like on stage explained what the parody was. And I remember it was really awkward. It was just kind of like, no one knows what this is, and they're explaining it. Yeah, that was just like Chris Dane Owens, Shine on Me. And okay, it just didn't, it kind of played weird, but I've always, Josh Jones did the cover. I wrote the lyrics and he recorded the cover, and he did it in like a night, I think. Like, he did it really quickly and did a great job, I thought. Track 14 is Handful of the Sky. That's Sean's song from the musical. I think I was meant to be kind of a typical cheesy musical song. Let's see. Handful of the Sky. I already talked about that. Track 15, Please Let Me Die, I Want to Die by Tim. Tim is a fake band in Mega64 universe. In version 2, you see that for the first time. Like, you see Dr. Pock is really into this band, Tim. They're like a gothy kind of band. And that song was just recorded. This is actually a song that I just recorded into the camera. Like, we were really, I mean, I'm not going to say we're professional now, but we were even less professional back then. And we didn't have any equipment for audio or anything. So I recorded this fake Tim song, and they're meant to sound like another kind of gothy band that we know of. And so I just improvised the song. Like, Josh Jones did a backing track that was kind of like, like something a gothy song could be. And I played it and I just recorded. I think I just freestyled it. I was just like, your razor love, baby, it's not right. Just kind of the typical shitty lyrics you would expect in a song like that. But I just recorded it. I held like a DV camera just right to my mouth and just sang it. Like, I didn't have any audio equipment. So for the soundtrack, we actually went back. I went and found the original DV tape and ripped my audio from that and mixed it into the song and stuff like that. That's the best quality version we have. We tried to get, in every case, the best quality version that exists. Most of these were recorded from the studio. The musical stuff was done in a studio, where we had better quality stuff than that. But this was one where I had to go to a mini DV video camera cassette to get the best audio from. So, but I think it works. Okay, so Presidential Dance Off is track 16. That was audio, again, another Ubisoft project. We did a video for Just Dance, I believe, on the Wii. And they asked us to, they were like, that was a quick thing. They wanted us to just, hey, go out and, give us a video of the presidents dancing, like a great dance video starring all the presidents. Okay. So, I mean, they gave us like no advance notice. They were like, if you can, we'll give you like this amount of budget. If you could just like get this done over the weekend and Monday we have it, we'd appreciate that. And they knew we could do it. We always work very fast. We work faster than most people that I know in our kind of field or whatever. So we were like, yeah, sure. So I really quickly, I think it was in GarageBand. I think it was just really quickly in GarageBand on the Mac or whatever. I made this dance track and we danced to that. And then we gave them the video Monday and they were like, where's the Wii remotes? We weren't holding Wii remotes in the video, and I guess they wanted them. But nobody ever told us to, so it was like, well, that's okay. Anyway, they ran that. That was actually a lot of fun, that video. It was so pointless. It's probably not a great video, but it's kind of irreverent, and I like that, whatever. But anyway, that track I just did in GarageBand. Another track that I made in GarageBand was track 17, the Sexy64 theme from our Sexy64 series of videos. That was something I just kind of put together myself. And that's my voice too, going Sexy64. Track 18 is Directions, and that's another one from the musical episode in version 3, which if you haven't checked that out, oh, you know what? We're sold out. I don't know how you're supposed to watch it. Never mind. But anyway, that track was actually all done in Mario Paint. It was something that Josh Jones had done years before and just had a recording of it. And he played it for us, and it was like, can we sing over that? Okay. And it was, yeah, so that's what that, Derek just kind of like, he freestyled a lot of that song, but we just kind of wrote for that track. Number 19, Magic, The Gathering. That song is, that was used in our Magic the Gathering video we did forever ago. Which that video, I remember when we did it, I didn't really care for it that much. I thought it was kind of like, you have 3 different stories kind of in it, and I thought they were all kind of like har, but people really liked that video, and I still hear about it. People will still bring up to me, yo, remember when you ate that salad made out of magic cards? I'm just like, yeah, okay. But anyway, that's from that. Track 20, Playing Around with Boys. That was a video we did. It was a promotion, again, Ubisoft, for Hawks. It was a aerial combat game called Hawks. And they basically said, do whatever you want for a video, but we want you to do a send-off of that, the volleyball scene in Top Gun. They said, we just want you to do that. Whatever you do with it, we don't care. But like, we want that volleyball scene is just such a weird scene in that movie. We just want to see the modern day version of that. And we were like, okay, so we gave us definitely the Mega64 version of that scene. So anyway, but yeah, it's just playing around. I told Josh Jones, I was like, hey, they're commissioning us to do this video. Can you put together a track that would best score just dudes hanging out playing volleyball? And so he gave us the track Playing Around with Boys. Playing Around with Boys. That's one of my favorites. Anyway, the song. But I like Playing Around with Boys just as much. All of it is good. Okay, so track 21 is Gears Hero. That is a video. We did is that the name of the video? Gears Hero? I think it is. That's a video we did for IGN a million years ago, 2008 maybe. So it was, what was the premise of that video? I have to be honest with you. That's one of the only Mega64 videos, I can probably count them all on less than one hand, that I was not there for. I was actually not present for that. I went on a trip. I think I was in like Seattle or something, and I was not there. So Derek and Sean did that video with a couple other people here, and it was you know what? It was a takeoff of it was making fun of all the Guitar Hero commercials that kept happening with the just take that old time rock and roll. That for a while those commercials were annoying, and I think they used that for the campaign for Gears of War or something. I don't remember. I am in the ending of that video, but that was just something when I got back from the trip, they were like, okay, record this real quick, and then they tacked it on. And I think I did a little bit of narration too. But anyway, they needed a parody of that. They wanted to do a jingle for the commercial. And so Derek and a couple people, I think, just played it live really quick and recorded it. So that's what that is. Okay, track 22, My Name's Horatio, You Got Me, blah, blah, blah. It's a long title. That is from the musical as well. That was just meant to be Horatio kind of like barking at the audience. Okay, so that's the whole first record. The second record, side C, we have Can't Breathe, the Possum song. And that is, again, from Summer Semester. That's kind of a mellower track. That is a song, Can't Breathe is a song that Josh Jones did before we even met him. He just did kind of a moody song, and we heard it and we thought it was just so like, no one told me. It was so smooth and cool that when we were writing the episode that had a battle of the bands between a possum and a snake, if you haven't seen this, don't ask. Well, version 2, go get the DVD. But anyway, we thought it would be so ridiculous to have this possum singing a song that tried to make him look cool. So we just said, can we use that song? Okay, and so we did. Great song. Track 24 is the finale of the Mega64 musical. That's about it. Track 25 is I'm Scared, which was used for the version 1 finale by Bad Credit. Bad Credit, if you know Dallas, he's been on our podcast a couple times. That was his band. They were like a hip-hop group. And they used to open for the Aquabats at a lot of different shows, and they were one of our favorite acts, period. They were so not only musically talented, but funny too, so we loved them. And so we really wanted to get Bad Credit music, even though that was more of a local thing. Like Aquabats are a little more national, Bad Credit was kind of just Southern California. Well, they toured all over the place, but I feel like that was inherently a California thing. But we really wanted it in there. We thought they were so awesome, and I still love Bad Credit stuff. So I'm Scared was a really bombastic track they did on their album. It had such energy to it that when I was wrapping up the version 1 episodes back in, 2003, I was like, dude, let's end on that badass Bad Credit song. Like, I'm Scared. Bam, 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 bam. Just wanted to end it high energy. I always love ending something with high energy, to kick it. You leave just feeling kick ass, So Bad Credit was on there, and so they graciously let us put that on the vinyl. So that was really cool of them. That was at the end of version 1. Now track 26. Track 26 is Handful of the Sky Reprise, or is it Reprise? You tell me. But from the musical episode, that track was not listed on the original CD. It was a hidden track. There'd be like 5 minutes of silence, and then it would come out. It's Sean singing it a cappella. I found my way after he's been injured. I found my way to Grindum. Whatever, that would come up. And that was hidden on the CD. But once we did the vinyl, it's like, look, dude, we can't... space is at a premium on a vinyl physical record. These are already pricey to make, and we can't dedicate a huge chunk of a record to silence. And honestly, like, you'd be missing out. You'd have less tracks on here because of the silence. So we abandoned that concept, and we just put it on here as track 26. So there you go. Now we're getting into the newer stuff that we had never released before. Track 27, finally, Parlez-vous Freeze Pop, Intersect Remix. That is a song that we used in Cosplayers, our Cosplayers video series. Freeze Pop is a great band. We did a music video for them back in like 2007, I think. Great group of people, and they let us use their music in our videos. And so that was one case where we were doing a video for IGN, had no idea what to do, but we owed them a video. So it was Cosplayers was born out of that. I had footage of us cosplaying in stupid ways at a convention. So we thought, okay, I'll just edit this really goofy to this track and see what comes out of it. So that's how Cosplayers was born, and we're still doing them. But that was not on our original soundtrack, and I wanted it to be back then, but I think there was some reason, like maybe it was a record label thing, or there was some reason it was very difficult to get that on there, so we couldn't do it. So this time I reached out to them, and they were like, yeah, it's totally cool. But Casson, who I think just left Freeze Pop when our last soundtrack came out, the original version, when Casson... I think has been more involved in kind of like Freeze Pop stuff lately, or since then, I should say. He comes in and out. I mean, he does his own thing, but he was kind of I think he was behind a lot of the early stuff, or at least knew about it in a technical sense. And so they told me to ask him about it, and I said, well, this time around, can we put Parlez-Vous Freeze Pop on the soundtrack? And he said, that's great, but yeah, totally down with that. But are you mastering these for vinyl, or what's the mastering process like? And I was like, I basically told him I'm trying to find the best quality version of every track I can and putting them on here. That's it. And he's like, well, but you're not mastering them for vinyl? I didn't know anything about that. I was like, I guess not. I don't know what that is. And he said, basically, you master all the tracks in a certain way where you adjust and tweak all the certain things to where they sound especially good for the vinyl format. And they're also not like, if the bass is so blown out on a certain track, it can actually physically affect the record or mess up the needle or, whatever. So he's like, are you doing that? Because he's like, because I'll tell you right now, Parlez-Vous Freeze Pop, it's mastered for digital. It might not be so mastered for vinyl. That might be a little bit of a tall order. It might not sound very good. He's like, so if it doesn't sound good, I don't know if you should put that on there. And I was like, well, I want to put it on there. What should we do? And he was like, well, no, I know how to master for vinyl. Like he's a huge audio guy, audio nut. He worked at Harmonix back in the day, with Guitar Hero and all that stuff. He knows all about it. So he was like, hey, if you don't know anything about this and you don't have anyone to do it, let me take this on. I'll do. Okay, so he actually cast him from Freeze Pop, and who also worked on Guitar Hero and all that stuff. He mastered it for vinyl. He mastered it totally for vinyl and mastered it for digital for the downloads, and did a great job. It's just funny. I was just reaching out like, can we use the track? Okay, and I thought it'd be over there, but he really was involved every step of the way of this album. He mastered it to make it sound just right on vinyl. I mean, as best as he could. There are some tracks that are by nature blown out, because we wanted them to be for a video, or they're, coming from a sketchy source. Given all the bizarre sources we gave him, he did a fantastic job. So yeah, anyway, very cool with that. Track 28 is Warren Spector tribute. I thought it'd be funny to kind of include, we did for the Warren Spector got the Lifetime Achievement Award at GDC years ago, and but he couldn't be. We wanted to do a video with him about it, but he couldn't be in a video because of Disney, or rather, we could do a video with him, but Disney would have had to have their input because of, at the time, he was still working on Epic Mickey stuff, and I was like, I don't know about that. So it would have slowed everything down. So we did a video without him in it. We did it as a tribute to him. But we got Cliff Bleszinski to do the tribute. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, they have all these little musical moments in the video that are like, Warren Spector. So I thought it'd be fun to sprinkle that throughout the rest of the album. So that's what that is. Indie Dreams by Josh Jones. That was that track was... again, for GDC, we had to do a video about all the indie games that were nominated, and so we did this dreamy kind of weird video that was it bombed at the thing. It was supposed to be a parody of the California Dreams opening. If you ever look up the TV show California Dreams, I thought the opening of that was so bizarre. But I asked everybody afterwards. No one knew that's what we were going for, which I guess doesn't matter, but it just didn't play very well. Another Warren Spector tribute for track 30. Track 31, Just Dance Miss. We did another Just Dance promo, and it was Christmas themed. I always thought that one was too much of a commercial. I didn't really care for it, but it was a song that we did. I thought it should have been on here. The Update of a Lifetime is a song by Carson, our friend Carson, who's been doing a lot of music stuff for us lately too. And he killed it. The Update of a Lifetime was a track for, back when the Wii U came out, the update for it took like a whole day. Like, it was such a long update that we did a video about it taking a lifetime. And so that was what it was, that's what that song was doing a little gag about. There's a little outro at the end featuring a certain ghost. And we just tried to use everything that wasn't used in the actual video. So you're actually getting some bonus material there that was never seen or heard in a video by the ghost. So that's some bonus stuff for you. Track 33, Bats Have Sex. That's the Game Crypt, our favorite goth gaming group. And that song was Derek playing it on a keyboard. We recorded it live. You could see it in our Game Crypt video that we did 2014 or so. I don't remember what year, but Derek played the keyboard and I just freestyled. That was all off the top of my head. It shows. But anyway, that's another one where we had to get just a raw WAV file from the video file, or the original video recording. We had to go back to the source files and pull it from that because they didn't want to re-record that. It was a live thing. It was kind of, you can't replicate that. Track 34, another Warren Spector tribute. Can't have enough of those. Side D, track 35 is Nebraska Tour Board pre-roll ad. At the time we did this is from an Indie Man video. It felt like every single video on the internet had a pre-roll for Nevada, I think. And it was just people drinking wine and being douchebags. And so we did a send-off of that ourselves. So Indie Man gets attacked by a pre-roll, and it's Nebraska. Josh and his wife Sarah did that, and they did a great job. Track 36, Goodbye Girlfriends. That was from our video, A Rift Between Sexes. The one that Barbara from Rooster Teeth was in, where we discovered that girls in VR might replace real girlfriends. So it's from that. That video. That video got demonetized. We'll just say that. Track 37 was really exciting. Glass Cities, which is a track we used in Kudaragi's Way. That song is by Mitch Murder. Mitch Murder is legit. Mitch Murder has done movie soundtracks. Fantastic electronic artist. Go look up Mitch Murder. He did an EP back in November. But incredible. And he just let us put that on. He let us use his music in the video because we were looking for kind of synthy music, and he just was like, hey, if you want, and I guess he was familiar with their stuff, and he said, go for it. And he didn't mind it being on the soundtrack. So that's a great track. That might be one of my favorite tracks on here, honestly. So check that out. And he, did a great job. Track 8, Sakaguchi. That's from our video, Sakaguchi's Final Fantasy. And again, kind of some bonus material. You just hear, it's just repeated, Sakaguchi. Different, you hear that voice so many times. Those are outtakes from Sakaguchi from that video when we recorded him saying that for the end of the video during his rap song part. We did 5 different takes or however many, and every time you hear it repeated in the song is a different take from that video that has never been heard before. So I thought that was kind of cool, and that's a cool track. Track 39, Virtual Tiger. That's from the press video. That's the E3 2015 video we did for Nintendo. That's a track that Carson did, and I just freestyled lyrics over it, intending to change them later, and we sent it to Nintendo, and they were like, no, it's done, that's it, you don't need to change it. And we did a female vocal version because we thought that would sound better, and they were like, no, why'd you do that? No, put Rocco's version back in. It's like, really? I recorded that at 3 a.m. I didn't like it, but they did, so that's what's in there. And the other versions of that track were on an EP that we gave to the Patreon. So Spirit versus Spirit, that was from our Cell Saga in 5 minutes video. That's me attempting to do Japanese. I recorded that at 6 a.m. before the video, before I showed it to everybody. And that's another one I thought I would have re-recorded. Never did. That is on vinyl now. Recorded that at 6 a.m. I was losing my mind. Go figure. Another Warren Spector tribute. Sequence Erase, Mega64 10th anniversary version. That's a vocal version of Sequence Erase that Carson did. I just asked him to do kind of a Snake Eater-esque, very Metal Gear-esque, I guess you could say James Bond-esque version of Sequence Erase that was done for our Sequence Erase video. And he did a great job with that. This is the first time it's been in its completion. And then The Gray Man is track 33. That's a rare Aquabats demo that I've always loved. And that's one of those early demos that's never been on a physical product before this, and they let us put it on there. And then track 44 is some of the audio for version 4.1, Revenge Erection. A little instrumental you may have heard in our teaser, and you'll hear a lot more like it in version 4. I think I'm running out of time, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody who picked up that record. It was a challenge to do all that. We did it. Like I said, a lot of sketchy sources, but we did our best with what we had. And I hope you enjoyed it. And all the notes, all the photos, pour over them if you get the chance, because there's so many from just across. We really wanted this to be almost like a yearbook of our lives so far in Mega64. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We put a lot of love into it. Hope you loved it too. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the record. Oh, how many kilobits per second was it? I don't know that. Did you want to know that? I don't know what that was. Shit.